How's it going, guys? Mr. Google, the Countdown God's here to tell you what I think about this year's Oscars. Okay? Now, before I get into the acting and the directing categories, I wanted to talk to you about some of the technical categories. And that is, first I'm going to start off with animated feature film. Now, the nominees for that were The Illusionist, which nobody has heard of at all, but also, How to Train Your Dragon was nominated, which I find to be the most overrated movie of the year. It's just my opinion. Respect it, please. And Toy Story 3, of course. Now, except for Toy Story 3, I do think that the Academy definitely snubbed something. Well, a couple things, actually. Megamind, which I found was totally underrated. I had a slight feeling that I wasn't going to get nominated, but I really liked Megamind. Tangled, I was really surprised that I didn't get nominated. That was actually my second favorite animated movie of the year. Totally, totally surprising to me that that movie was amazing. And yeah, I love Tangled. Also, I knew this wasn't going to get nominated, but I just want to say it. Shrek Forever After, I really liked. To me, the whole Shrek trilogy has been totally inconsistent. The first movie is one of my favorite animated movies of all time. The second one was a total disappointment. The third one was shit. This one really put a humongous smile on my face. So I'm not mad that it's not nominated, but yeah, a lot of people are sad that Despicable Me wasn't nominated. And, Despicable Me. If Steve Carell wasn't in that movie, it would have been, bad. Really, really bad, I think. Also, Scott Pilgrim wasn't up for anything. The one I'm really mad about is Best Editing. Why wasn't Scott Pilgrim up for Best Editing? Why? That was the best edited movie I've seen in years, and I'm really disappointed by that. I love Scott Pilgrim, one of the best movies last year. But you really have to. The Academy really had to see that that movie had the best editing. It was so fast paced. It had every single sound effect, and it was editing like I haven't seen it before. And everybody's praising the Social Network's ending. It didn't really. That's like the second best edited film of the whole year. But compared that to Scott Pilgrim, oh my god! And it should have been up for a couple original songs. My personal favorite's Garbage Truck. I think that was really, if you look back in the past. The Academy gave the Academy Award to Eminem and that group from Hustle and Flow. Yeah, it's hard out here for a pimp. That's an inappropriate song. That's like the definition of an inappropriate song. An 8 Miles song, which is a good rap song. It's just with that one, and that's inappropriate. So Garbage Truck. Why, if those movies win for Best Original Song, why can't Scott Pilgrim be up for nomination at least? Also, Best Adapted Screenplay, The Town, criminally underrated, that script, and that totally should have been nominated. Also, Best Original Screenplay, I'm surprised Black Swan didn't get a nomination. Really surprised about that. But the big one I'm really, really mad about is Greenberg. Greenberg was so realistic, probably the most realistic movie of last year. I was so intrigued in this movie. It was brilliantly directed, which I'll get to later. Also, just the way it was written by Noah Baumbach, and a lot of people, it was just amazing. It's like, words can't really describe how much I feel about that screenplay. But everybody's saying about that movie Tower Heist with Ben Stiller, Michael Pena, Eddie Murphy, Gabourey Sidibe, and Casey Affleck. That's like the most random cast. Oh yeah? It's directed by Brett Ratner, and guess who's one of the writers? Noah Baumbach. I'm there. Moving on, I'm going to go to Best Director now, the Snubs. Oh my god, the Snubs for Best Director. Christopher Nolan, Inception. I mean, everybody's really explained it. I don't want to really rant that much about it, even though what I'm feeling inside. Danny Boyle, too. 127 Hours, brilliant directing. I don't know. Did he not get nominated because he won the Oscar for Slumdog Millionaire? I don't understand that. I do think that compared to what I just said, Danny Boyle and Christopher Nolan, I mean, right there, I do think that Joel and Ethan Coen and Tom Hooper for The King's Speech, I don't think they should have been nominated for Best Director. I find that all these movies right here that I'm going to say for Best Director, I thought they were way better directed movies than The King's Speech and True Grit. Even though True Grit did have good direction, but compared to these, no. Also, Noah Baumbach Greenberg. Oh my god. This guy is a brilliant writer. Like I just said, he wrote this, Squid and the Whale, which I still need to see, and he co-wrote Fantastic Mr. Fox with Wes Anderson. That's epic. And, wow. It's so realistic, this movie. And he... Oh, I don't want to say anything anymore about that. Ben Affleck for The Town. He was snubbed for writing and directing. That is terrible. Very good directed movie by Ben Affleck. Roman Polanski for The Ghost Rider. I know this was a long shot for him to get nominated, but The Ghost Rider was one of those addictive movies of last year that I could just watch over and over again, and just each and every time I saw it, I just loved Roman Polanski's direction over and over and over again. I do think it's biased because they don't want, Roman Polanski being nominated because he's a rapist. So what? Put that in the past. I know I'm making it sound like it's not a big deal. He raped somebody. I know that's bad. That's covered, all right. But what about just because somebody rapes somebody or fuck this. I don't. It's gonna sound really really weird. So Roman Polanski was snubbed. Moving on. The nominations for Best Supporting Actress I thought were normal, but I do think they definitely snubbed quite a few people. I know everybody's talking about Mila Kunis in Black Swan. I don't know. I don't think she gave the best performance by Best Supporting Actress. I guess I'd put her on here. I didn't really write her down because not one of my favorite performances by a Best Supporting Actress. Blake Lively in The Town. Yes, she had a sex scene, but that's not all she had to her performance. To me, I do think she was barely in the movie, but every scene she was in, she was kind of a scene stealer to me. I think she captivated every scene she was in, and she was up there with all good actors like Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner, and that was good. John Hamm, too. Also, Elle Fanning, Somewhere, with a movie with hardly any dialogue. And Jake Sullivan said this about Edward Norton and Stone. I do think that, I agree with him. When actors can act with their facial expressions, that's when you can see when that's a good performance. And Elle Fanning definitely did that in Somewhere. And she's like 12, 13 years old. Bravo, Elle Fanning, and should have been nominated, I think. Also, Helena Bonham Carter. She was nominated. Not for the right movie. This is where I rant a little bit. I do think that her performance in The King's Speech, though good, was nothing special. She didn't really bring any spice to the character. I think she did the best she could with this character, but that's not really saying much. But the movie I do think she should have been nominated for, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, are you freaking kidding me? That's Alice in Wonderland. I love Alice in Wonderland. I think that was a very underrated movie of last year. And I loved her performance in and out for that movie. I thought she was great, and she should have been nominated, I thought, so for that. And the last one, big snub, Chloe Moretz for Kick-Ass. What a performance in that movie. I know a lot of people were making controversy about it. Oh, she curses. Oh, yeah, that's balls. That's balls. Okay, I loved Chloe Moretz's performance the whole time. I mean, so good, such a good performance by Chloe Moretz. I mean, I knew she wasn't gonna get nominated, but the next category I have is Best Actress, and I don't want to really talk about this all that much. Greta Gerwig in Greenberg was great, definitely overlooked. That whole movie was overlooked. Anne Hathaway in Love and Other Drugs, I thought that was gonna be an automatic nomination, but I guess it's going to be disappointing. And, I wouldn't be surprised if Anne Hathaway mentions that she wasn't nominated when she hosts with James Franco. That's going to be the icing on the cake right there. I felt be snubbed, and it's going to be another one where you're like, are you kidding me, Dustin? Emma Stone, easy A. If anybody else was in that role, it wouldn't have been the same. And, oh my God, she made that movie. And she was very good in the dramatic scenes, too. She was great in the comedic scenes. I mean, they've nominated people before for giving comedic performances, like Alan Arkin in Little Miss Sunshine. I mean, he was comedic and he was dramatic. Yeah, moving on. Supporting actor. All right, this is a lot. Jonah Hill, Cyrus. Zach Galifianakis for It's Kind of a Funny Story. What a performance. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Inception. And of course the two guys from The Social Network, Andrew Garfield, which everybody's like very like pissed about. I'm pissed about too. And Justin Timberlake. Me personally, I thought Justin Timberlake was better than Andrew Garfield. And I know if you say this, if you comment on this video, you're probably gonna get blocked for me, and I'm just gonna fucking hate you for the rest of my life. If you really say that Justin Timberlake in The Social Network was not nominated and shouldn't be nominated because he was barely in the movie, I just explained it. You're fucking out of my life. I hate you. Because Justin Timberlake in this movie was amazing. That whole movie was amazing. So, Justin Timberlake should have been nominated. I know a lot of people are like, who the hell is John Hawkes? John Hawkes is great in Winter's Bone, and I'm really happy he got nominated. I know I'm not really talking about the nominees, but, you know, I want to mention that because he was a good performance in that. I thought he stole the show in Winter's Bone, other than Jennifer Lawrence, but that's just me. And finally, Best Actor. We have Jim Carrey, I Love You, Philip Morris, Leonardo DiCaprio, Shutter Island, Ryan Reynolds, Buried, which I'll get to in a second, Ewan McGregor in The Ghost Rider, Mark Wahlberg, Who Brought a Soul to the Fighter, and Ben Stiller, Greenberg, which was one of my top 5 favorite performances of the year. I'm going to talk about Ryan Reynolds and Buried, but it's not technically about his performance, but it's about the whole controversy. And if you haven't heard about this, you know, this is the deep dish from Mr. Google. Well, I Googled about I heard about this, I didn't Google. I heard about, on IMDb, about the writer of the movie, Chris Sparling, who won the Best Original Screenplay Award at the National Board of Review, and he did the most dumbass thing anybody could do if they wanted to be up for an Oscar. He wrote a letter to every single member of the Academy telling them to nominate him because he won at the National Board of Review, and literally taking critics' opinions about his screenplay and putting on the letter too. That's like the biggest kisses to the ass ever. That's just stupid. And thanks, Chris Sparling, for ruining Ryan Reynolds' chance of getting an Oscar nomination this year. Nice job. And that's my Oscar snubs video. I'm Mr. Google, and I'm out.